I close my eyes, draw back the curtain to see for certain what I thought I knew. Far, far away, someone was weeping, and the girl was sleeping. Any dream will do. Excelsior!
Ah, Jamie, here we are. I say, Doctor, who's that wee fellow with that multicolored rainbow over his shoulders? As his singing would suggest, I knew it. Who, Doctor? Who? Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Excuse me, good sir? Who are you?
No one, dear child. Just simply admirers of the arts passing through. Although, if I'm going to be honest, you were a little out of tune in that costume. Jamie!
Well, why don't you try, you wee little boy? If you admire the arts so much, let's see you do better.
I'll warn you, I don't have a soothing voice.
Doctor, I really think you shouldn't. Hush, Perry. Sing, boy. Sing!
I'm never gonna dance again. This guilty feet have got no rhythm. Though it's easy to pretend, I know you're not a fool. I should have known better than to cheat a friend and waste the chance that I've been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I danced with you. Oh. How dare you, man? It was better than your whatever it was you were singing.
What I was singing? I was singing one of the all-time great musical songs. You old coot. Who wrote it?
Well, you see.
You don't know, do you? No, of course you don't. You don't even know who Andrew Lloyd Webber is, do you? The interesting thing is that before he became evil, he was good. And that's what I am. Thoroughly good. Oh, here we go again.
Who do you think you are? You're an oaf, a nincompoop. Why do you have to spoil everything? We came here for music, not theatrics. Come on, Doctor, let's go. Hush, Jamie. The doctors are talking.
Perry, they're spies. Sent here to steal our music. And we all know the fate of musical spies.
Perry! Perry! Oh! Shut up! I can't take you anymore. I should have left you when I had the chance. Oh, Perry! No, please!
That's music to my ears. Go get him, girlie. Fuck him right up. Give him a wee little kick up the backside.
Perry! Please! Oh.
Far, far away, someone was weeping, but the world was sleeping. Any dream will do. I should play that on my recorder the next time. Thanks, old chap.
Hello, Whovians, and welcome to my latest Doctor Who rant on the Two Doctors. Oh, fuck. So, the basic plot of this story is as follows. The Doctor has teamed up with himself before to save lives. This time, he must save his past self in order to ensure his own existence in the present. What could Chisen and dim-witted lackey Shockeye have planned with the Sontarans. Only one thing is known for sure. Time will tell. The two doctors. This is a crap Doctor Who story. I'm sorry. This is probably the worst multi-Doctor story so far. Before I go any further, I would also just like to thank my good friend and subscriber, Nicholas Payne, for lending me the DVD to this story. I really do appreciate that. It's very kind of him, because it's hard to access this elsewhere, and I don't own it myself. The second big shout out I'd like to give is also for my good friend and subscriber, Alan Kalo. This is the first time he has appeared on my channel. He appeared in the opening skit, so please subscribe to him. He does Doctor Who reviews, movie reviews, and other content, and it's nice to have him on my channel. So, Alan, welcome aboard, and thank you very much for appearing in the skit. Please leave your thoughts on that down below. I'd like to know what you all think. But as for the story itself, oh god, this story is just so dull. That's one of the biggest problems I have with this story, is that it is just so fucking boring. This story is also longer than the other stories in the season. It's 3 45-minute episodes, so it runs for like 2 hours, 15 minutes. It is incredibly slow. It's like nothing happens for most of the story. It is way too long. The worst part about it is that Colin Baker and Patrick Troughton, they barely interact in this story. They don't do anything together. Patrick Troughton also gets turned into an androgon, which is it's like a flesh-eating cannibal creature, which is really weird. The thing about this story is that I think it is far too dark for its own good. It is way too dark, way too just very unpleasant and grim. I don't understand what the hell this story is trying to do. It's a story about cannibalism. I just don't think it's appropriate for Doctor Who. You can really tell that J&T and co, they have lost the freaking plot with this story. Not that there was ever a plot to begin with. But so, we got this character called Shockeye, who's a villain. I mean, the villains are shit, for the record, but Shockeye is one of the most disturbing Doctor Who villains, and not in a good way. There is a scene in this story where he actually eats a rat. Literally, and we see the blood and the insides of the rat. He just picks up a dead rat, and eats it. It is disgusting. It is offensively bad. It is incredibly unpleasant, and this is not the story I thought I was going to watch today. There's loads of blood and everything. It's, you know, and they're trying to eat humans as well. Like I said, it's about cannibalism, and this guy, Shockeye, he's trying to eat Jamie, he's trying to eat the doctors, and he's trying to eat Perry. It's, oh my god, it is disgusting, and I just couldn't get into this story. I'm sorry, I could not get into it. I think it's disgusting, totally unpleasant. The fact that they also film this story in Spain, or most of it in Spain, doesn't really add anything to the story. Like Arse of Infinity, I don't understand why the hell we're in Spain. Like, there's no relevance to it, other than that Patrick Troughton and Shockeye go to a restaurant and eat everything. Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. The story is incredibly convoluted and messy. It just doesn't go anywhere. And there are far too many talky scenes. There are way too many talky scenes in this story. It's nice to have Patrick Troughton back. It's nice to have Frazer Hines back as Jamie. They are great. But they are completely wasted. I mean, Frazer Hines gets a bit more to do, and he kind of hangs around with Colin Baker and Nicola, Bryant, but poor old Patrick Troughton, I mean, he doesn't do anything in this story. It's a real shame, and oh man. I don't know when in the Patrick Troughton timeline this is meant to be set. Apparently it's meant to be set either before or after the War Games. I think it's meant to be set before the War Games, but if that be the case, where's Zoe? Why isn't Zoe in this story? But that's the least of the problems. Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant, bless them, they are trying their best. I mean, Colin Baker, again, he's just not... I just don't care for him. He's one of the least likeable doctors. I'm sorry. I just don't like him that much. I mean, he's a great person, but his doctor... just really boring to me. He just doesn't engage me. This season has been particularly polarizing, to be perfectly honest. Nicola Bryant does a good job with her American accent as always, and she does put on a good performance. And again, dressing in skimpy clothes, it's clear that J&T is sexing her up and everything. The location is lovely, you know, Seville. It is fantastic, but the rest of the story looks cheap as fuck. They obviously spent too much money on the location that rather than anything else, just to make it look nice. And you just feel like, well, it's great to look at, but why are we here? Like, it has no reason for it. Planet of Fire, it made a bit more sense as to why they filmed in Lanzarote, but with this, Just no. And when Colin Baker himself changes his costume, he wears like a waistcoat which is just got all, I don't know, it looks like a very like a flowery design or something. It doesn't look right. It looks so campy beyond belief. Like I said, the tone of the story is really grim. It is really unpleasant. Also, the Sontarans are in this story. This is their last appearance in the classic series, which is a real shame because now we won't see them until the David Tennant era, which is quite a number of years after this. And they look absolutely ridiculous. I've made no secret of the fact that I think the Sontarans are some of the weakest Doctor Who villains. I don't hate them by any stretch of the imagination. Their design I've always found a bit stupid, like they look like baked potatoes, but this is their worst design ever. They have these weird ears and their faces look like they've been like run over by car tires, and you can't understand a word the actors are trying to say because they're so confined by the prosthetics, and you can tell the cheapness of this show is really coming through, and I'm sorry. But I just don't like this story. I think it is so long and baggy. It is grim and unpleasant. It is just offensive. It is not a story I would ever show to my kids unless they were of a certain age, because I feel there's too much grimness. It is too grotesque and unpleasant. The Doctor acts out of character in this story, as in Colin Baker's Doctor. When he kills Shockeye, he uses cyanide. I mean, the Doctor, okay, he's killed people before, and he will kill more people. I mean, he's not labelled as a saint or anything, but he's always been fairly moral, I would say. The Doctor is a moral character, and you've just stripped the morality out of him, because usually the Doctor would always try and use his words as weapons. He would try and reason with other people, but with this, he just chooses the easy option. He's like, no, let's just kill the guy. He's a cannibal. He can't change. I just thought it was really out of character. Like, why would he kill him like that? It was such a dark way to go out. It was a dark way to die, and I just thought it wasn't right. And it's not Colin's fault. It's the writing. They wrote him out to be an arsehole, and then it does another throwaway Bond line. I mean, I can't remember what the line is, but it's, oh god, it's just terrible. It really is. One thing I will say is at least the cast are trying. The cast give fantastic performances, but they can't save it. And there are a couple of other characters in this story who are basically filler characters. Chisen and Shockeye are terrible villains. They don't do anything. There's even a moment, I think, when Chisen like goes down on the pavement and licks the Doctor's blood. What the fuck? It is just so random. Nothing makes any sense in this story, and it's too long. It's far too long. It should have been 2 45-minute episodes, not 3. Like in the first part, nothing happens. It is that damn slow, and I struggled to stay awake during this story. I really did. And considering that this is a multi-Doctor story, you'd think that the two Doctors would interact more, but no. They're doing this as false propaganda to try and keep the viewing figures up because they were desperate at this time. And it just feels like they didn't want to put the effort into the show anymore. They were like, well, we've got this story, but we want to include Patrick Troughton, but we don't want to have them interact so much. There's no point. If you don't want to have them interact, no one's going to care. So immediately, it makes this story completely redundant. As for the other filler characters, we've got this Spanish lady who I believe is called Anita, played by Carmen Gomez, who is Spanish. She's lovely, you know, she gives a good performance and her character's nice. And Oscar, played by James Saxon, he's a good guy, and he owns the restaurant actually, and his death is really grim as well when he gets stabbed right in the torso and you see the blood. You really do see it. I don't know what they were intending. Again, this is totally just very polarizing. It doesn't make any sense. Why they're going for such a dark, grotesque, violent route, and yet they still have this sort of campy air about it because it looks so damn silly. So this is a mess. I'm sorry, this story is an absolute mess. I'm really sorry. If anyone likes the story, that's fine. That's each to their own. I'm not here to change anyone's opinion. I'm just here to express my opinion, and in my opinion, this story sucks. I think it's a terrible story, and probably the worst multi-Doctor story. I mean, it wasn't that long ago since we had the 5 Doctors, so I don't see why we needed this. Clearly, it was a pull of desperation to keep the show on air because, you know, criticisms of the show were coming in, and especially that scene with the rat, that prompted a lot of criticism. But this is definitely one of the worst of this season, and one of Colin's worst stories so far. I'm sorry, it is just terrible. I have to be honest and say that I really didn't like it, and I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10. I cannot give it any more than a 2. 1, the actors do a great job, and 2, the music. That's it. And obviously it's Seville. Okay, the location is great. Again, it's pointless, but it looks nice. So yeah, I'm sorry to be negative, but I'm just being honest. I just didn't like it. I'm sorry. But again, I want to thank Nicholas Payne for lending me the DVD, and I want to thank Alan Kalo for appearing in the sketch. Please subscribe to the both of them. I will leave links to their channels in the description below. And please let me know what you think of this story down below. And stay tuned next time when I review or potentially rant on Time Lash. I've heard a few things about that story. And then after that, it's Revelation of the Daleks. And then we would have done Colin's first season, which is amazing. And then he's only got 1 season left because he's not a long-serving Doctor. But anyway, thank you very much all for watching, and as always, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. See you soon. Bye for now.